I went to pay my phone bill this month, and when I went in the store, they were saying that they're not accepting cash. Now, I noticed it wasn't no line in the store, and I kind of figured that they were going to say that because they said this back in November, and this was the month that I was going out of town on a trip, and it seemed like they were trying to like set me back or hinder me from going out of town. And so I ended up going to the store that particular time back in November and get me a MasterCard because I usually get Visa prepaid debit cards whenever I'm paying something. I never use my bank card because I don't want my bank card being messed up or behind me paying a bill and them getting my information off my bank card. So I always use a prepaid debit card, and I usually use Visa, and I've never had no problems. But the amount that I had to pay for my phone bill, they did not have that amount on the Visa card, so I had to get a MasterCard. So I go back after I purchased the MasterCard, go back to the phone store, and they put me on the 611 automated service to pay the phone bill. And I waited a while. They had me on hold, and finally they came on the phone, and then they were saying that the card was declined after I gave them the card number. See, so what I'm trying to say, to make a long story short, is that we're going into a cashless society. So when this happened back in November, I knew that they were going to do it again. So they did it this month. I really feel like they do this because of what I'm doing with my phone. When God showed me the galaxies and other planets and the stars and the celestial bodies in the heavens with my phone, then I know that they don't like the fact that I'm able to use my phone at all. So I feel like they try to make it complicated as they can for me anyway. My last phone went completely out. My phone before that, when I first started seeing the spiritual things that I see in the spiritual realm, that one started to black out. But then it started to work again. But I just ended up just buying me a different phone because, it kept blacking out so much. And then the other one went completely out. And this one, I have trouble with it at times. But I feel like it was a way to restrict me because they look at what you're doing with the phone. I remember years ago, they cut off my water. That was back in 2015. And I didn't understand why they cut off my water when I paid the bill 2 days ahead of time before it was due. But last year, back in April of 2019, I was looking at my cup of water and I saw the Lord in it. And on these pictures where I see God, he is black, he is melanated, he is Negro. And I know that they look ahead in time to see what people are going to do. So they already knew what I was going to see. But back to the phone situation, when I paid the bill, they kept saying they were not accepting cash and that the systems were down. When I think of the systems being down, I think of it where they cannot operate at all, like where the registers are not operating, where the store can't be open. I don't think of it being where, they can only accept it through automated service, like meaning you can only use a card, a debit, a credit card. So to me, the system wasn't down. What they're basically saying is that they're doing away with cash. Now, I was able to go to a different store and pay the bill, but the time back in November, since it was a grocery store nearby, I went to the grocery store and got a debit card thinking I could pay the bill. And there were other people in there paying the bill with their debit cards, but mine was declined. But when I called the MasterCard company and talked to customer service, they said the card was active. But the phone place that I paid where I paid the bill at, they said it was inactive, so I was not able to pay the bill there. So I eventually left out, but I had lost $63 buying a card that they said was declined. And what I'm trying to say by this story is that what they're doing is they can wipe away your card when it's electronic like that. When you have paper money, then you can keep track of what you're spending. And so when you pay a bill, then you counting out the money to them and they giving you your change if there's any change to be given back to you, and you go on your merry way. But when it's electronic money, You cannot keep track of it. So even if there is money on the card, wherever you spending it at, whether you paying a bill or you at a business or you at a store, they can wipe it off there right away once they get the card number, and once they get your information, they can wipe it off there. So they can be telling you it's declined when it's actually active. And this is a way that they do people that they feel like is threatening in some kind of way. Maybe you speaking too much truth. Maybe you helping too many people. You reaching out to too many people, or you're doing something that they find threatening, or they feel like you're gonna be a problem. And so I'm just telling people this so they can prepare. So when I went this month, they said the same thing. They were not accepting cash. But this time I didn't go get no card. I went to a different store where they do accept cash. And then when I went to that store, it took a long time for them to put that money in the register, because when they key it in that I had paid the bill, then the register's supposed to pop open for her to give me my change, and it took a while for that to happen. And so she said the computer froze up, so then she went to the other computer and she was able to give me my change. But it's almost as if that wasn't going through then. It was almost if I had difficulty with paying my bill at the different store that I went to. So what I'm trying to say to you is to prepare, to stock up. Things are changing. Revelations 13, that they will cause rich and poor, free and bond. They will force you to take a mark in your right hand or your forehead. Though you do have a choice. What I mean by force is that it's going to be mandatory. You do have a choice to say no. I'm going to say no. But just like it say in the word, that in the Bible, people will be killed that will not receive this mark. Just like in the book of Daniel, when they wanted them to bow down, when they played that song, they wanted them to bow down to that image, that statue, and Daniel and his friends would not bow down to it, and they threw them in the fiery furnace. Well, these days are coming again where our faith will be tested. And a lot of people say they about their life. They about their Christ life. They love God. Well, God wants to put you to the test. Your faith is about to stand trial. And a lot of people going to fall by the wayside because they trust the beast more than they trust the Lord. God is the provider. And he can make anything happen. He can give you food. He can provide you whatever you need. And some of us are going to have to endure to the end. So it's going to mean our life. But we're going to be with him in paradise. So the Bible is real. So when people be around here talking about the Bible ain't real, the Bible is very real. Prophecy is being fulfilled right now. So I'm just making this video to let you know, to get prepared. We're going into a cashless society. Money is about to be done away with. Then it's going to be the card. Then it's going to be the RFID chip. So get ready, stay prepared, and keep the faith.